I'll tell you something, I love trolls. Like every time I have trolls, I'm like, man, I love you. Like, thank you
Okay.
so much for watching my content. I appreciate it.
Are plants not alive? Do they not have feelings?
They don't. Plants are alive, but they don't feel pain. They don't have a central nervous system, pain receptors, or brain, which are the scientific requirements to feel pain, and they don't have those. But that being the case, this is the biggest point about plants, right? Is that even though plants did feel pain, because I'm completely open-minded to it. One of the things that, for me, I'm open to anything. So if plants do subjectively feel suffering, I'm completely open to that. I don't believe it. There's no scientific evidence of that being the case, but I'm open to it. But if that was the case, it would still be better to be vegan. Why? Because in order to raise animals, we gotta grow crops to feed those animals. And so that being the case, eating animals is an inefficient way to feed the world. It's a way in which, well, we're saying, okay, let's eat an animal, but for the animal, let's produce this many plants. And that is just inherently ineffective. And that being the case, eating plants directly would actually cause way less plant suffering than eating animals.
Jack wants to know, he wonders how many of us are aware of the massive numbers of invasive species that need to be killed in order to grow kale and such.
I do not know a specific number, but the question I would ask you is, are you aware of how many animals are killed for food every single year? And that's in the tens of billions. And you know, that cannot compare. It's the same thing as the plants have feelings thing, right? Even though invasive species may be killed for plant agriculture sometimes, which does happen for sure, no vegan is in denial for that. Let's just throw up peace signs for that.
Yeah, we're gonna throw up a peace signs for the empty truck.
Listen, no vegan is in denial that sometimes animals are killed in plant agriculture. We're not claiming to be perfect. Veganism is not about being perfect. It's about causing the least amount of harm possible and as far as practically possible. That means that, you know, no matter, here's the thing, because no matter how you look at it, eating plants directly is going to cause less suffering than buying animal products. Because first of all, when you buy animal products, you're directly paying for animals to be used and killed. There's no way around that. It's not ambiguous. Like, it's not like when you talk about kale, right? Oh, maybe some animals are killed for this kale that I'm eating. When you're eating a piece of bacon, a pig was definitely killed for that piece of bacon because that bacon is a dead pig. On top of that, like for the plants thing, we got to grow a lot of plants in order to feed those animals. So for the plants that are grown to feed those animals, invasive species are also going to be killed. We can't just look at it in a simplified way. We got to look at the entire supply chain. We got to look at not just, you know, the animal part versus the plant part, which that even doesn't compare correctly, and still more animals are killed in animal agriculture. But if you add on top of that the animals who are killed for the plant agriculture used to feed those animals, there's no way that you can compare that to the invasive species that are killed for kale.
Awesome. Ryuji is so amazing at answering these questions. I've had a lot of people coming up to me during protests lately asking me why vegans are not concerning themselves with other issues.
Yep. Listen, the only time I've been criticized for not caring enough about humans is when I brought up animal rights. There's no other time. Like, I could be doing anything else. I could be chilling at the beach and no one's going to come up to me and be like, yo, why are you chilling at the beach? Why aren't you like doing something for the homeless? No one's ever said that to me. The only time that I've got that criticism is when I was doing animal rights stuff. And I think it's a defense mechanism, to be very honest with you. But here's the thing, many people, when they see people caring about animals, they're like, why don't you care about humans? And the truth is, many of us who care about animals do care about humans. Are there animal rights activists who don't care about human rights issues? Absolutely. But are there also animal rights activists who care a lot about human rights issues? Of course there are. In my experience, what I found is that many people who do care about animal rights, that's been a window for them to care about other issues in the world. For me, caring about animals has opened my mind to caring about the environment, to caring about people. I see people in a whole different light. So many times, it's very common for me to be walking around with food, and if someone's in need of food, I'll give them my food that I bought for myself. Because I'm like, you know what, like, why not? I can do this good deed right now. There's no harm in doing it. I'm gonna do it. And you know, that is something that's happened to me for sure after I became vegan and after I became an animal rights activist. And to say that, you know, we don't care about human rights issues, I think is just a very, it's like boxing vegans in one box, which, you know, is not a very nice thing to do. It's not an accurate thing to do by any means. But also the other thing to consider, and that's really important to understand, is that animal agriculture violates human rights in many, many different ways. Right? For example, the main thing, and here literally a slaughter truck is pulling up, so actually this is very appropriate For every single time that we buy animal products, we are paying people to work in slaughterhouses where their jobs is to kill innocent animals. There are hundreds of animals in there that people have to kill. People are gonna have to slit their throats with a knife, which is a horrible job, which causes PTSD, anxiety, drug abuse, and all sorts of violent behavior, because when you're killing animals, there's not such a big leap to, you know, being violent towards humans, and that's just absolutely horrible. Yeah, we're gonna give water to these pigs right now, so let's go do that.